Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the AFC East Divisional Preview, a division that saw a team go to the Super Bowl and surprise everyone, a team that had to fire a head coach, and then another team that had to fire a head coach after winning a playoff game. And then you had the Jets, who are the Jets. Overall, a very interesting episode today that I'm sure we will totally not go over the time limit we want. What do you think?
I'm hoping that we can keep controlled.
And is that hope realistic?
I don't know. It depends upon you.
Yeah, then it ain't realistic. Now, looking over this division, there are so many just interesting facts because really when you break it down to, you have two teams competing for first and two teams competing for the first pick. And it's just kind of fascinating. And I'm excited to talk about it. I'm not excited to talk about a certain team's general manager, but it's got to be done. So are you ready to jump into it?
Let's do it.
We will start off with the Buffalo Bills, who ended up, like I said, winning a wildcard game and firing their head coach. And they were very close to going to the AFC Championship game, which they would have met their divisional rival New England Patriots in it. But just a very interesting catch interception happened in overtime. And there was really no comeback for that. Broncos drive down, scored the game-winning, I believe it was a field goal, not even a touchdown, on the Bills, and that sent their season home. The Bills got rid of Sean McDermott. They promoted Joe Brady, which I'm very interested in, as I like Joe Brady. I just don't know if it's the route I would have gone. And they keep general manager Brandon Beane and everything, which leads me to asking, what exactly is different about the Bills this year?
That's a good question. What I would say is your stabilizing force. Let's go back to before everybody was, before Buffalo started being Buffalo, the Buffalo that we see today. All right.
Which actually, while we're doing that, just going to promote a little bit. There is a Buddy Nix video coming out on this channel next week, talking about the Bills in the early 2010s in that regime. So Bills fans, check that out when that drops.
And so what really started their turnaround?
It was the hiring of Sean McDermott.
All right. I would agree with that as well, right? And
well, they made the playoffs his first year as a head coach with Tyrod Taylor. If I remember correctly, it was his first year.
I believe you're right. But he has continually been getting his team. So if you look at, hasn't won the Super Bowl, right? But look at the teams that we would perennially say are the best teams in the AFC. There's really four, right? I mean,
Bills,
if you think about it.
Ravens, Chiefs, and that fourth one's kind of up for, like, are we talking like since like the past 5 years?
Yeah.
It's hard to put the Bengals up there. The Chargers, they always seem to be in it, but they're kind of sometimes fall apart.
I was referring also to the Bengals. And I get what you're saying, but if you look at it, all of those teams have mega contract quarterbacks,
which
right?
You can include the Chargers in that too with Justin Herbert.
Yeah, but theirs is more recent, right? What I'm getting back to the others is Buffalo is really the only of those four teams that has handled their depth in a way that they haven't missed the playoffs recently, right? I mean, if you think about it, go back to it. I mean, we honestly didn't think that KC would run into the buzzsaw quite like they did. And so they didn't make the playoffs. And people will say, well, Patrick Mahomes got hurt. They really weren't going to make the playoffs, in my opinion, before he got hurt.
It was a stretch for them to make the playoffs. And question, in the game he got injured in, weren't they losing it anyways?
Yeah, they were losing. Yeah.
And that would have eliminated them no matter what, if I remember correctly.
I can't remember. But, I mean, the same thing goes with Baltimore, right? And then with Cincinnati. Cincinnati's had struggles for the last couple of years. And my point being is that all those teams have the mega contract quarterback in common, And yet Buffalo is the only team that has been able to basically stay afloat. And so what do? You go out and you fire the head coach. Now, you and I have both had a huge disagreement in their defense and their offense. And so you have talked about how atrocious you thought Buffalo's defense was. And yet, when we were talking about this, what was their run defense last year rated? Do you remember?
So if I remember, they got there down the stretch, but I still believe it was a bottom half of the league.
Oh yeah, they were 28th in run.
28th. Okay, and their pass defense was top 10, right?
Top 5.
Top 5.
Okay, so they basically ended up, 20th good God, use your math skills. 12th in overall points per game allowed. And then you throw that in with Josh Allen and that offense. And I mean, what it basically turns out to be is they were so wrong to fire McDermott.
100%.
I don't believe that Bean should be there. I would have rather had Bean go rather than McDermott, because you saw how he turned the defense around, because they started the year and he didn't have the pieces, and he changed it, and he was able to build that into a defense.
It's the scene from Iron Man. For any nerd who's listening to this, it's wow, how am I blanking on his name? The main villain of Iron Man 1, as he comes up to like that lab tech.
Oh, isn't it like your?
No, Eobard. Whatever. Sorry, comic fans. I know it. I'm just blanking on it. But he comes up to lab tech and says, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a bunch of scraps. That's what Sean McDermott did with that pass defense last year. That secondary last year.
The run defense. The pass defense, they were really good.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, you look at the names in general about that pass defense, like, there's nothing that really inspires much confidence, yet he got it to work.
Okay, I see where you're going. Yeah.
And the run defense, like, there are guys like Ed Oliver, and by the way, we are recording this post-news, thoughts with him and his family with what they're going through right now. Can't imagine that. Ed Oliver is, like, an extremely consistent, very good football player. He's not the best run defender. He's a better pass rushing defensive lineman. TJ Sanders, who they drafted last year, who I was really high on. I loved his pass rush upside, but I was very wary of his run defense. And that's really with where the interesting thing is, the Bills, is Jim Leonard comes in. Jim Leonard wants to stop the run. I have watched him at Wisconsin with how they would load the box, how they would just try and stuff the run. And to be fair, you're in the Big Ten, you're not in the NFL, like, it's a different way of football. But there's still just kind of that sense that he wants to stop the run. And I look at the current Bills team, and I'm wondering, how will he be able to stop the run where the pieces maybe aren't there to necessarily do it right now?
I have a feeling they'll be blitz heavy.
And that would fit Jim Leonard to a T.
Which is why I said it. Okay.
Yep. His old adage, if he dies back there, he dies.
Yeah. And the thing is also you're also taking to effect that you feel that the offense is going to give you a lead. And so your secondary is basically just waiting to capitalize on turnovers, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead, sorry.
Before we move off this, I just want to say, like, Sean McDermott, to me, like, I feel this is very similar to how Andy Reid and Philadelphia went up, where maybe this could work out for both sides. Like, Joe Brady, I really do like as a coach. I thought he should have been hired as a head coach, and I believe he is now the youngest head coach in the NFL currently. I don't know if that's 100%, but I know he's one of the youngest. I really like Joe Brady, that I could see both sides end up being fine, but I am very curious to see where Sean McDermott eventually lands, and if he will get over the hump there with a GM that's more in sync with him.
That makes sense. Joe Brady is 36, Kellen Moore is 37, Mike McDonald's 38, Ben Johnson's 39, Sean McVay is 39.
Joe Brady.
So you think about it. Sean McVay is 39 now. How long has he been in the league?
I want to say 2017 was his first head coaching job. I want to say it was
Good
2017.
call. 2017 for the Rams at the age of 30.
I knew that because of one reason, because that was Jared Goff's second year, and he's a 2016 first overall pick.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, but I do like Joe Brady. I'm very curious to see with what he does because he does come from the Sean Payton tree, which we haven't really seen a lot of Sean Payton disciples on offense get the head coaching position. I think he's actually the first, and that's going to be very interesting to see how he handles it all. And as brought in Pete Carmichael to be the offense coordinator, which I'm sure Joe Brady's still calling the plays, but Carmichael is used to that as he worked under Sean McVay in New Orleans doing the same thing, that he knows his role and with what he'll have to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, looking at their free agency, man, there's one move I hate.
Nah, you're not a Chubb fan.
I have no Chubb for Chubb.
That was bad, just so we're clear.
It was horrible, but it's staying in. Bradley Chubb, I don't think he's what he once was. He's a shell of himself when I watched him play. And I think he really benefited from being on the opposite side of Jalen Phillips, where Jalen Phillips could do everything and Chubb would get these one-on-ones. There's no one in Buffalo to really help him. And I just wonder, would it have been better just to do another mercenary deal with Joey Bosa instead of Bradley Chubb? That's kind of how I view it.
Yeah, time will tell. I'm not as hung up on Chubb as you are, but
D. Alfred, though, I really do like that move. I think he is a corner that Atlanta is going to miss pretty much. Can play the nickel position really well. I believe Buffalo did trade their nickel back, and I'm blanking on what the package was they got back for him. But D. Alfred can come in, play that position very well. Good coverage, good instincts on the ball. Like you said, this is a team that's going to rely on turnovers. D. Alfred can very much go get you that turnover.
yeah. And then they brought in Gardner.
Go Gators. Good turnover guy. Just, I don't know how much he really is going to be able to play. It feels like NFL teams have kind of figured out how to play against him. Kyle Allen as a third string quarterback, or is he the backup? He might be. Yeah, he's the backup now, I think. Wow. And then you bring in Austin Corbett, Greg Gaines, Mitch Winowski, Geno Stone, Lloyd Cushenberry, which, I mean, okay, real quick, could Lloyd Cushenberry be like an under the radar signing that we haven't really talked about a lot of? Because he had by far his best year in Denver with Sean Payton. Then he went to Tennessee, and it just fell apart in Tennessee with a lot of issues. Now he's going back to the system he was really, really good in.
Yeah, but Connor McGovern's pretty good.
Yeah, but like maybe Cushenberry has to fill in due to an injury, or maybe he gets, like, you have a guard issue. And they did re-sign Osiris Torrance. They did, like, their offense line is good. I'm not trying to say like he'll immediately start, but like if someone goes down, that might be a sneaky, really good depth.
He is a quality depth piece.
And Michael Donna, how many Bills preseason games have you watched so far? I'm willing to bet 0.
I've barely watched a Seahawks preseason game so far.
So Donna, in the 2 games I have watched, I have wrote down Donna a couple times because he's had some good pass rushing reps, he's had some good run defense reps. I'm not saying he's a starter, but I liked with what I saw to him that he could be a very good, like, 3rd or 4th edge on a team. Now, we look at the guys that they have lost. David Edwards is a very good guard. He goes to the New Orleans Saints at 4 years, $61 million. That does suck, but you can't pay everyone. Reggie Gilman, fullback, Mitch Trubisky, Cam Lewis, Darnell Savage, AJ Epinesa, Taylor Rapp, Dane Jackson. They lost guys, but I really don't know how big of an impact any of them would have outside of David Edwards, which I think is a sizable hole you have to fill. But the Bills have recent years really figured out the offensive line position, how to scout it. It's one of the few things I actually trust Brandon Beane to do at a very good level.
Well, I mean, they've also, the way Joe Brady calls the games, it does help with that too.
Yeah, 100%. And you ready to jump in the draft?
Absolutely.
Oof. So TJ Parker, I think it's best if you just talk about him.
Well, I like him.
Listen, there is a chance I'm going to a Buffalo Bills game in Vegas at some point this year, and I don't want to get put through a flaming table.
So the one thing that I'll say is, if you really want to bring out the best in an edge, Jim Leonard's a pretty good guy to have coach you up.
Yeah, I mean, by far the best coach he's had.
Parker has all the tools. The scheme fit wasn't really there, but even without that, he still shined. So personally, I was high on him. I like it. So
I've just heard the song and dance with Clemson defensive linemen. Like, how many times have we said this? Oh, the DC just didn't have him in the right position. You can work with him and really figure this out. And we haven't seen it progress to the NFL level. Brian Brzee, he's been fine, but nothing that would really blow your doors off. Miles Murphy, he can't finish to save his damn life. He's actually got some fine tape, but the production just hasn't really been there. And that's really where I'm looking at with TJ Parker is I don't think his college coaching has set him up for success. Since Brent Venables has left Clemson, I feel like the coaching there has just majorly fallen off a cliff. And these players, like, they were once highly thought of because they are tradesy. They are these athletic guys, but coaching leaves them so far behind that when they transition to the NFL, they're just far behind every other player they have to go against.
And that's fair. So, I mean, what he's got, it's not like he's really shined thus far. He's got 2 total tackles in the preseason thus far, but I honestly, I'm excited to see what he can do. It's gonna click for him.
Yeah, Davidson Igbinosun, and I wanted to like his film more than I did. He's a press man corner. He stays relatively healthy, which is good for the Bills considering how many injury issues they've had in the back end just recently. I just don't know how much I really trust him, as I feel like he can get a little handsy, he get a little physical, and he's gonna get flagged a lot, and that really does worry me often with a young corner getting into the NFL that refs won't give you the benefit of the doubt, and they will just throw the flag on you over and over and over again. But he is tough. He's a willing run defender, which is very crucial in my opinion. Just the penalties and just I don't really know about him in zone coverage yet really has me a little worried.
Fair enough. Shockingly enough, I don't know much about Bowery.
He is a prospect. Very raw, but you just kind of watch him. He's got good speed on the outside. He can move relatively well. He can actually set people inside really well on stunts. That's something I very much noticed. But he is a developmental player to the T.
Well, there you go. And Skylar Bell.
I raved out Skylar Bell. I believe it's either he's tied or he has the second biggest hands for a wide receiver in the NFL. And having big hands actually does help you catch the football better. I just really loved him. And I just realized we did gloss over one Bills acquisition. I think we can talk about here as we look at the Bills wide receiver room, DJ Moore. DJ Moore coming to Buffalo. I am much lower on DJ Moore than you are. I actually viewed it as a net positive for the Bears trading him away in general. And I look at Skylar Bell, and you're going to ask me, would I rather play Skylar Bell or DJ Moore? I'd rather play Skylar Bell. I think he's got more potential. I think he's got that ability to really pop and become that deep threat that's not just speed, but he's a big body guy. He can go up and make contested catches, good hands. I feel like if he was at a better college than UConn, he would have been much more hyped up. He had not the best quarterback play and just everything else around UConn. You're just not going to get as many good reps as, say, if you were at I won't even say Ohio State, but at a Syracuse, for example, where you just have more consistent quarterback play, or I'm trying to think of another college team that's not really high up. My point is, if he was at a power conference team, I think he would have been more highly regarded.
I can totally get that. But I'm going to put you on the spot here. DJ Moore or Keon Coleman?
Coleman's cheaper. Coleman knows DJ Moore.
Moore knows the offense better than Coleman does.
Well, possibly. I'll say more, but that's because I don't think I would roster Keon Coleman.
So Skylar Bell could technically work in the Keon Coleman spot as well.
Yes, and I think that.
So then you could potentially have DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, and Keon Coleman, right?
You mean
and,
Skylar Bell instead of Keon Coleman?
Right? Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. And you would be far happier with that than Moore, Shakir, and Coleman.
Well, yeah, but
so don't compare. Don't think about it as the Moore acquisition. Think about it as the Keon Coleman subtraction.
Okay, that is very fair, but a counterpoint, I'd rather use my second round pick on something better than DJ Moore.
Okay, fair enough. But I know you don't want to do this, but put yourself in Brandon Beane's shoes right now.
Oh, I hate myself.
I know, but Moore had the most success when he was in this style of offense. Josh Allen is not going to take anything. I think you're going to see a resurgence in DJ Moore this year.
Okay, what would you say is DJ Moore's best skill?
Yak.
But speed, right? His ability to create separation, pretty much.
No. You think about it. Look about how many short plays he takes it. To be quite honest, as soon as he gets the ball, I think he runs more like a running back, which you can put him into the backfield as well, right? I mean, for instance on this, I'm not a huge Ray Davis fan.
Okay. Hey, you take that back.
I know. I'm not. Okay. I would rather, in some instances, put DJ Moore in the backfield. It gives you so many more potential options. And I did not mean to do that. Oh, God, it's the night of bad jokes. Oh, God. But
that might top my Chubb one. I just want you to know.
No. But anyway, Moore gives you a lot of options. You see how I stopped saying his name?
Yes.
Okay, gives you a lot of options that some of the other players don't give. And so that's what I mean. I know his speed, yeah, he's fast, but it's what he does when he gets his hand on the ball. That's where he is valuable. And those short plays, I think, are where he's going to make his bread and butter this year.
Okay, here's my counterpoint. I would have signed Wan'Dale Robinson. I would have thrown the bag or Raheed Shaheed. There were just other guys I just like more than DJ Moore. And that was not even on purpose. I'm just going to move on from that. I just don't view him that highly after just watching all the film I did of him in Chicago last year, where I just felt like he was just such a net negative that him and Caleb had no chemistry whatsoever. He'd give up on routes often. And to me, like at this point, I can't put my faith in a guy like that. Especially when he is essentially, like on paper, he should be the number one wide receiver. Wouldn't you say so?
In Buffalo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I just can't say I would fully trust him being number one wide receiver. And to be fair, Josh Allen doesn't really need a number one. He's really good at spreading the ball out. It's why I thought last year, and it was a good decision by Cooper Kupp, but I thought Cooper Kupp made a lot of sense for him as he's not someone that necessarily needs a lot of targets, but is a reliable guy when the quarterback comes to him.
Fair enough. I just still think that you're going to see a resurgence.
Yep. Moving on off the DJ Moore discussion to Caleb Alarms, or who I actually didn't watch a whole lot of. I did read up on him beforehand, though, and he's just a well-built linebacker with what I've read everywhere with good athleticism, but just the instincts just aren't there overall. Has good speed, can maybe be something you work with. And here's the thing, though. When I read that well-built linebacker with good speed, Jim Laren's just going to send him down the hole every time.
Yeah.
Jalen Kilgore. Did you watch a lot of Kilgore?
Yeah, I actually liked him.
Big, long guy. Could be a nickel. Could be a safety. He's kind of a budget Nick Emanuari, if that makes sense. Like, he's not as
Yeah, a poor
good,
man's a poor man's Nick
but
Emery.
I see it, and it probably does help that he comes from South Carolina too. But like, I see with what the vision could be on him. I'm just not searching on that. Zane Durant was one of my most disappointing prospects when I actually watched him. I had such high hopes for, like, you see like Penn State defensive players, you kind of get giddy, because like they're these athletic freaks, and then I watched him, and I was like, he's all right. Like, I don't really think highly of him, but there's worse.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, it's at that point in time you're kind of drafting off of potential, right? Um, he has a lot more potential than what he's shown. So you're hoping that in the fifth round, in a position that you really technically have need for, you need defensive uh, tackle depth. So you put a flyer in on him and see what happens.
Yeah. Pride Jr., I didn't really watch a whole bunch of outside of when Missouri was playing live. He wasn't like anything that blew me away, but he wasn't bad. Tommy Dahlman Jr., go Gators. Good punter. I saw him used a lot last year, unfortunately. And Amarj Reed Adams, he's got good size and length. That's really all I can really say about him.
Well, there we go.
Moving on to, I would believe, the Miami Dolphins. And isn't it nice to not have to talk about a Chris Greer general managed team? Oh, it's so nice. I'm just happy not having to talk about it. I can't imagine how happy Dolphins fans are to live it. The Dolphins finished pretty bad. They had a good stretch, but outside of that, it was just a lot of underwhelming play. Tua Tagovailoa really did not do much to inspire any confidence for the future, as he was released this offseason. Tyreek Hill is gone. Jalen Waddle is gone. Bradley Chubb is gone. Jalen Phillips is gone. We could go down a major list of players that are gone, and it would take forever. So they just have a new team.
A relatively inexpensive team of players, not an inexpensive cap.
Now, Jeff Hafley is someone I'm very uncertain of as a coach, as I saw some good potential with him last year at Green Bay, but then kind of felt like their secondary wasn't all that good. He didn't really counterbalance that at all. I believe they were one of the worst third down teams in the NFL last year. It's just like, I see the good in Jeff Hafley. I saw it at Boston College. He knows how to coach a team. He knows how to really get people to rally up behind him. But I just don't know how he's going to translate to being an NFL head coach. Maybe he's just better suited for college.
What the only thing that I would say there is that, I mean, with the exception of a couple players on that defensive line, one of which got hurt, they didn't have, in the secondary especially, Green Bay secondary wasn't that strong last year.
No,
so
that's a very fair
point. I mean, in third down, typically, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be playing more towards the pass, and so if he didn't have the tools, he did the best he could.
Yeah, and I'm just like uncertain on him. I don't think he's necessarily a bad coach. I just don't know if he would have been the coach I would hire to run a football team. And there's really only one free agent I'm going to talk about, and that's Malik Willis, as he's the only guy to sign a multi-year deal in Miami at a 3-year, $22.5 million per, with $45 million guaranteed, essentially just a 2-year contract. So if this year doesn't work out, they have next year that you could sit a young quarterback behind him for a couple games. But Malik Willis is familiar with this coaching staff, as a lot of guys come from Green Bay, Wisconsin, where Malik Willis saw a great surge. He showed some good potential in Packers games last year, showed more willingness to be under center, looked like a better, more composed passer last year in the games he did play, and just games in Green Bay in general, has good mobility, can really maybe be something that the Dolphins don't have to rush the quarterback pick, that they can maybe be a little patient here, and that's a very good thing for Miami.
So, just a simple question. What do you think of Miami's offensive line?
Oh, dear God. Did I not answer it? Good thing Malik Willis can run.
Okay. So the reason why I say that is he's not going to be in the same position as he was last year in Green Bay.
No,
He doesn't have one of the top 10 play callers designing plays that fit his play style. And that's something that where he was at when he was drafted, right? Goes in. They didn't call plays to fit him. No. Last year, LaFleur designed plays for him, right? It's not that you have to change the offense. You just have to make the compatibility between quarterback and the offense work. And LaFleur did that really well. Yeah. Bobby Slowick, I actually thought that he probably got a bum rap the second year. But even in the first year, he didn't call plays that benefited Stroud. He called plays and they were successful, right? So it'll be interesting to see what Slowick can do. But in that same respect, it's like he's not playing with the same offense that he played with in Green Bay. I mean, his starting wide receivers are Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, and Caleb Douglas. Excuse me. My allergies are really acting up.
Yeah.
And Atwell is, you got Chris Bell, who, when he comes back healthy, could be something, right? But that's not what he was throwing to. And I love Achane, but I mean,
unreliable.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say that. But one of the things that made Green Bay's offense roll is that they had the battering ram that just wore people down. They don't have the battering ram now.
No, they don't. It might actually be Malik Willis is going to be forced to be in the battering ram. And I mean, I think now's the time. And like they did extend a couple players, Achane and their center. My thoughts on those deals aren't the highest. I look at Miami kind of just like they're so early on this rebuild that are those guys even going to be there when that actually matters? And I can't say that for certain. Like most rebuilds we look at, like NFL, you can flip a team in 1 to 2 years. This feels like a 3 to 4 year process, doesn't it?
There's a big difference. Do you know what their dead cap is for this year?
It's astronomical. Tua, I believe, is like at $55 million.
Take a guess.
I'm going to guess $121 million.
$179 million.
That's impossible to build a competent team with.
Yeah, right. So basically, you're operating your entire team on about $150 million.
It is the ultimate take your medicine. Just take it for a year.
Yeah, you're taking a big shot of castor oil, and that's not good.
Well, but compared to with kind of how like Dolphins fans were feeling last year, I think they would rather have this type of team than with what they saw last year with the overpaid Tua contract and Tyreek Hill like wanting out, then getting injured, and then you just have all these questions like they were wanting to get rid of the coach and GM. Like there feels to be some hope and optimism at least going forward now, which there wasn't last year.
Which can tie into their draft because I kind of like
God. How many players do you need to take?
Did you just not hear me say that they're okay?
It's just a lot, man. It's a lot. I forgot how many players they took until I had to do my Dolphins video, and I kept on scrolling. I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous.
So I know that you're not a huge Caden Proctor fan.
That would be an understatement.
All right. But you weren't a fan of him at tackle.
I wasn't a fan of him at guard either.
Well, I mean, I think once again, these guys can develop attitude and then maybe work their way out depending upon it, right? But we'll just skip on him. Chris Johnson.
Someone we both liked.
Oh God, someone that I really wanted Seattle to go with. His play style fits perfectly in a zone scheme defense. He's got great reaction time. He's quick on the ball, and he's instinctual. So I think that was really good, which is good because they really don't have anybody in the secondary.
The one
Jacob
thing
Rodriguez.
I just want to say one thing on Chris Johnson. The one thing I was kind of wondering is, can he ever be like that number one true corner? Which I don't know if I felt like that, but I always felt he could be a very high end two. Like
He can be a number one if you're using him as a boundary.
Yeah, and that's true.
Right. Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker, we both liked.
I did not like.
Okay. One of us liked.
So Jacob Rodriguez, to me, the big issue I kept on coming around with is I felt he was made great by his defensive line. And I kept on watching it over and over again, and I kept on hearing people gloat about him, and I ended up thinking that he was just the product of having that defensive line just open up everything for him, where his natural athletic traits can really benefit to playing in the open slots, going and getting that guy, really showcasing his ability. When I compare him going to Miami, a defensive line that I don't think has those horses, like, yes, they have better players than a college team, but I don't know if they have the horses to compete like that against NFL offensive lines like Texas Tech was able to do against college offensive lines.
Do you know who their second string left side is for their defense?
Their edge?
Well, just their edge and their tackle combo.
Which side is Chop Robinson on?
Chop's left. Chop is left.
And I'd guess Kenneth Grant.
Cleveland Farrell.
Oh, dear God.
Jordan Phillips is the left tackle.
Well, that's not horrible.
Higher register.
Well, can I say
Who did you guess? Who did you guess?
What'd you say?
Who did you guess first?
Kenneth Grant and Chop.
Kenneth Grant is the starting defensive tackle.
Second. Oh, my bad. Okay, I see where I messed up. That's good luck, Jacob.
All right.
To be fair, that's good luck for every Dolphins defensive player.
Yeah, it is. Caleb Douglas, wide receiver out of Texas Tech.
I liked a lot. Actually, this is the Texas Tech guy of their draft I really liked. As for those who don't know, I am a Florida Gator fan, and Caleb Douglas started his career at Florida, so I'm very familiar with him. He is a very good contested catch receiver, can go up, high point the ball. I think his route running is better than a lot of people give him credit for. Just the Texas Tech offense kind of limited him and with what he could do, but I remember watching him at Florida, and he was a competent route runner. He showed great break at times. There was a little up and downs at moments, but he was a younger player then. I really do like this pick. I think it might be something that's underrated and can really blossom, especially when you maybe look at Malik Willis, who's not going to be the most accurate type of quarterback. Caleb Douglas is comfortable going up and making those spectacular catches.
I liked their second wide receiver better, but that's okay.
So do I. I love Chris Bell, but I did like Caleb Douglas.
All right, Will Kamarick.
Big boy.
Yeah, I mean that's what he is. He's basically going to be a six-man blocking.
You know what? That should be their battering ram. Just put him in the backfield and hand the ball off to him.
Well, and maybe they will do something along those lines, right? So it just depends upon the formations they're running. Chris Bell, the aforementioned wide receiver. What's his status health-wise?
So I believe he's still returning. He's not fully up to par, but will be able to come back this season. So do you want to know with what wide receiver I had him ranked as before his ACL injury? He was wide receiver 2. I loved him, but that ACL injury kind of worried me a bit because rookies who are coming off injuries and are injured their first rookie year tend to have issues adjusting to everything. It can be a little rocky, so I was giving myself a little cautious there. But the player, he just reminded me so much of A.J. Brown. Just that route running, that physical ability to catch. The guy that, once he gets the ball, is tough to bring down. He just reminded me of A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I guess I can see that. So,
Trey Moore, I wasn't his biggest fan. And that's strictly because I kind of got lost watching other Texas defenders whenever I watched him. He didn't do anything notable, which I guess is kind of like both good and bad, that he wasn't like an outright disaster, but he didn't really like blow me away at all.
Fair enough. Kyle Lewis,
Safety.
linebacker.
He should be a safety. There should be no more debate. This dude is a safety. Do you know how big he is?
I mean, obviously he's going to be small. Say 225.
So this is from the combine. He was 5'11", 220.
Okay, that's close.
Very close, but is that a very undersized linebacker?
Wow. He's a nickel backer.
Yeah, and that's what he should be. He should be more into that nickel, like with what we just said kind of about Jalen Kilgore, kind of like that Nick Emanuare role. And I'm not saying he's as good, but that's kind of like the role I would envision for him. That I would.
Well, I meant nickel linebacker. I didn't mean like nickel back.
I'm saying I would put him at nickelback. That's what I'm saying. That's just, I think, his best route to being a successful guy in the NFL, because I can just see teams just like analyzing him. Like, you're the Bills, you see that, you're kind of just going to go, we're running at him. Mike Vrabel will pretty much say, just put your helmet in his chest and see what he does. Jets, yeah. Well, the Jets have a good run attack, but with what I'm saying is, I think him as just that pure linebacker could be a major weakness teams could attack in the run game.
Yeah, I can. I always wonder, why would they put him? Why would they put him where he was at? And so I'm just looking at his. He had a 4.5 40-yard dash. So that right there would say why you're not putting why you're not putting him in that position.
Well, Kyle Hamilton's not fast.
No, but Kyle Hamilton, that's just it's a different kind of player, right? We can't just say, well, they're the same size and kind of close to the same speed, because look at how bad Hamilton was until somebody taught him how to play, right? I mean, he was on bust alert until Mike McDonald came to town.
And he's kind of underachieved since McDonald has left.
Oh, so it just might be the coach. Yeah. Anyway, Michael Taffe.
I wasn't his biggest guy. Like, he is essentially just like a box safety that can maybe play the run game somewhat, but on any other team, I'd have an issue seeing him make a 53-man roster. On the Dolphins, I think he's got a good chance. But
the irony on this, from Taffe down, the only guy that I really know much about is Max Llewellyn. And there were a lot of like conjectures early on that he might go in the 4th round. So the fact that they got him in the 7th round, he doesn't have the burst, but he's a solid player. I think he can probably make the team.
I think all of these rookies will probably end up making a team because,
well, it's how you take care of your salary cap situation.
Yeah. Kevin Coleman Jr., ironically, my favorite picks from the Dolphins, and I would say all 3 of them, like, just because I like the direction they're going, are the wide receivers. Chris Johnson's a great player, but I really love just getting good value 5th-round pick for Kevin Coleman, who will be that slot receiver. I don't really see him as an outside guy at all, but he's got good speed to separate, and just like him running a post route is a beautiful thing. Sidhu Traore, I feel like I'm butchering that, but he's a good athlete. His route running isn't clean. Like, that's really a developmental guy. DJ Campbell from Texas. I would not have drafted a single offensive lineman from Texas after last year. With what I saw Arch go through, that's what I will say there. He just lacks bend in everything. You got to move him into guard. He played tackle at Texas. I really don't know what to say about that. Well, no, he played guard, but he got beat. Yeah. Just would say he's going to have issues in the NFL. And as you said about Llewellyn, who I would say the one other thing I would add is he did lack some bend issues at Iowa where you could see he just can't get down there like other guys can.
No, definitely. Which is why he was drafted where he's at.
Yep. After that marathon of a draft, let's go to the New England Patriots, the defending AFC champions and runner-up to the Seattle Seahawks. And I knew I had to say that before you would jump in and say it.
That hurts.
Am I wrong?
That hurts. That's all I'm going to say. We don't even need to go there, okay?
Did it hurt as much as Drake May hurt after the Super Bowl?
I don't think anything hurts that bad. So I guess first and foremost, they were the AFC East champ. They were the AFC East champion. They were AFC champion in the Super Bowl. What was your thought process? Because we've talked a lot. Do you think they were the best AFC team?
No.
It was all timing.
I would have probably – I'll give them credit because they beat the Texans, but, like, you got the Broncos. If Bo Nix doesn't get injured, they're behind them. I would still take the Bills over them, and I would have taken the Jaguars over them.
Yeah, to be quite honest, so would I. And
I'll give them credit for being the Texans. I will, even though I feel like a lot of that was just the Texans decided to take a shotgun to their own foot.
Yeah, don't get me started on that game.
But yeah, they got lucky, and sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but you will eventually run into that big bad bully that will beat you up, and that's what happened in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And I mean, they had kind of an interesting offseason, right?
Yeah, scandal we do not need to get into for obvious reasons. Just some interesting distractions, but doesn't seem to be affecting this team. And do you want to talk about the free agent acquisitions first, or do you want to get straight into the big name?
Well, let's just go in with the trade that was the most secret trade of all time.
I think everyone knew of that. Everyone could have been a reporter. We all knew what exact day that trade was going down on.
I still wonder to this date if the Rams decided that they were going to keep Jared Verse and they didn't care. They didn't go after Myles Garrett. If they wouldn't have gone after
A.J. Brown.
Brown.
That is very possible, but I think Brown they haven't paid Puka. Maybe that may be possible.
You put him. So here's the problem, because I mean, there was a lot of talk about the Rams cutting Devontae, right? And so if you go and you trade for him, cut Devontae, I mean, I think that offense is a hell of a lot scarier than the offense they currently have.
Yeah, and A.J. Brown, he's just like that tremendous type player that you really always have to pay attention to, because as much as his best specialty, I believe, is just like that go ball, because he can go up and catch that ball. Like, you have a slant on him, he can take that and just run into the house because he's so hard to bring down because he's just a unit. And
now but here's the thing. The mad scientists now would have two completely versatile players with A.J. Brown and Puka. I was wrong. They didn't do it. But I told you, I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams went after him. And then, of course, they went after him.
Here's the question, because A.J. Brown wanted a new deal. How much of it was he wanted to reunite with Mike Vrabel and wouldn't consider anywhere else, and no other team was willing to go with that because they wanted to extend him and they couldn't?
Well, I don't know much of that, but I'm sorry. You can love a head coach. If you had a chance to go play wide receiver for Sean McVay,
well,
with the team that is there, I mean, they were a couple of plays away from going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl last year. I'm sorry. No offense, New England fans. Whichever team came out of the NFC West was winning the Super Bowl. Maybe not San Francisco at the time because they were so beat up. But Seattle or the Rams, yeah.
Yeah, I think that game would have been closer if it was the Rams because I just think New England would fare better against them than Seattle. But just looking at AJ Brown in New England, they needed him so bad. Like looking
Oh,
that receiver room, and we are actually recording this the day of the Keyshawn Boutte trade, which they like last year at this time we were all thinking, God, that room sucks. Now we're looking, that room's got some good players and some good depth. What a year can do.
I mean, well, but you just said it here in the last situation. A lot of teams can turn things around in a year, and they did, right?
Yeah, like
So,
losing Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs was really, really good for them last year. AJ Brown's a better player than Stephon Diggs, and you also bring in Romeo Doubs, who is a very good second-type wide receiver, who is quite different from AJ Brown, and that's in all the best ways. They're not going to play the same role. Romeo Doubs, like we all know, he's going to be a Josh McDaniels slot guy. We don't need to overcomplicate it. That's what he was brought in to do.
So the only thing that worries me about that
injuries
is his concussion situation. Name me a slot player for McDaniel that hasn't had multiple concussions.
You can't. It's a risky position.
So,
yep. Bringing Elijah Vera Tucker. Tucker is a very good offensive lineman when healthy. That's just a big concern you have to have with him is the health, if you'll actually be able to play on the field or if you will be on the sideline in the blue tent.
Yeah. I really, really wonder about what they're going to do with Morgan Moses.
Yeah, I'm very confused with their tackle situation. Because, like, when Caleb Lumo was drafted, and before we get into this, like, everyone was like, oh, Campbell's moving inside. It doesn't sound like that's the plan at all.
No.
And, like, I don't want to sound mean, but I don't think Lomu had, like, the potential of, like, an offensive tackle in this draft. To me, he was always, like, the guy that you just draft and plug and play.
Fair enough.
And I don't know if New England's doing that. And, like, maybe Morgan Moses, you want to start out the season because he is, he is a rookie and everything. Moses is an established NFL veteran. He is a good player. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but it just leads to me wondering, like, what is their plan to tackle?
Do you know who Morgan Moses is going up in the first game of the year against?
Death?
I mean, he didn't do well a few months ago.
No, he did not. I mean, I don't know what side that is for the Seahawks. DeMarcus Lawrence?
Yes.
That was a random guess. I was either going to say Lawrence or Hall. I was going to be right with one of those.
Well, you would be right on both of them.
Should have said both. Draymond Jones comes in. He's a fine, solid player. Nothing really elevate a ceiling, but elevates your floor. Julian Hill, Reggie Gilman, Kevin Byard, Greg Van Roten, James Hudson, Kendall Weiler, KJ Britt. Like, nothing really, like, major, but fine players. They lost, as I mentioned, Stephon Diggs, Chris Tongas, Caleb Von Chason, Jalen Hawkins, Veradian Lowe, and Jack Gibbons. I really don't think, like, there's anything major losing there. Like, Chason was a fine power rusher, but I really don't think he's someone you would invest $11 million into. Like, when you just look at what you can do for compensatories and everything.
They were very smart with their moves, and for the most part, they have been. I think that's the stability of Vrabel, and knowing that if you have McDaniels as an OC, he can do so much, right? Yeah. And so
just can't be a head coach.
Yeah. And I think he's learned his lesson, and I think that as long as you keep him as your offensive coordinator, I mean, you're kind of set.
Yep. Moving on to their draft, and as I mentioned with Caleb Lomu, do you have anything to add from with what I said, or no, not really?
No, he's just a good football player.
Yeah. Gabe Jackass, who actually I really like a lot, and I kind of see him filling in that Caleb Von Chason role of just like that power rusher edge. He is raw. There will be moments you will watch him and just think, what is he doing? But he's got just that explosive twitchiness that you just kind of want to bet on sometimes. Eli Raridan, I don't know. I think he had some good ability, but I kept on watching him at Notre Dame, and I always had the same thought of, he's underwhelming me. I feel like he should be better, if that makes sense. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. He can produce on all 3 downs. He's not someone you necessarily have to take off the field. I just was always underwhelmed with him.
Fair enough. I think he might have been the victim of the tight end rush.
And
if he was drafted in the 4th round,
I mean, I will say this: I like their first 3 picks better than the rest of their draft.
I'd say that. In fact, if we just stopped there and just ran through the rest of the draft,
there's one guy I do want to talk about. But yes, Prunity, 25-year-old corner. I didn't think he was all that good. They disagreed. Demetrius Crownover, traitsy guy, fine, whatever. I don't see much for him whatsoever. Namdi Abizwar, I didn't watch a single lick of him, so I can't comment. Baron Morton, actually kind of was a little fascinated with him entering this draft class, as he looked really good when healthy at Texas Tech, suffered an injury during the season. I think he's got some like fun skills, but like he's probably where he's going to be, like right now on the Patriots depth chart as 3rd string behind Tommy DeVito. Jam Miller.
He's got a cool name for a running back. Jam.
You're 100% right. I will never forget the hype Jam Miller had at one point. Like, this was the dude that was supposed to set the world on fire at Alabama. Like, we're talking like he was supposed to be kind of like TJ Yeldon, if that makes sense. And that's a throwback name.
Yeah, that is.
But he just never achieved it. It was over and over again. You would watch him and just be like, oh, there's something. No, I just never really bought into him as a player. And I just can't help but think this is them maybe looking at the pedigree he once had, looking at the helmet and thinking, well, he's a running back from Alabama. Maybe there's something there. That's all I can think of with this pick, because I don't see it. I don't.
And then Quintavious Hutchins out of Boston College.
I really just, he was like a backup edge, I believe, most of the time at Boston College. I haven't watched a lot of him, but I believe I remember hearing that a lot after he was drafted. It was like he barely played.
On to the Jets.
Jets. Depression.
Oh, it's not that bad.
You're right, Jets fans, and make it sound way worse. Jets fans. I think your offense can be good this year. I really like the offensive line. I think the addition of Geno Smith. I never thought I would say that. Then imagine going back 10 years ago and telling yourself, 10 years from now, Geno Smith will return to the Jets. They are coming off a 2nd overall pick season, and their offense might actually be good. What would you have told yourself?
This is the Twilight Zone?
Well, yeah. And I know Geno Smith's going to get a bad rep for how last year went in Vegas. I will say this. He had no offensive line whatsoever. The Jets have a really good, stout offensive line. I really like their entire starting 5 unit. And I think he's going to be able to really utilize Garrett Wilson, utilize my A.D. Mitchell. I'm not giving up faith yet. And progress just as a team moving forward. Will say, though, the one thing that could be bad about the Geno Smith addition, he might play them out of where they want to necessarily be drafting. And I don't know if I think Jets fans would rather be 0-17 than 5-12.
I kind of like their offense.
I know, like their offense, you weirdly look at it, it's like, I like their running back. I like their offensive line. I like their receivers. I like their tight ends. What's wrong with me? Like, that's the feeling you get when you look at the Jets. Like, why do I like this? This can only end in one way, and it's not good. They made some additions. Joseph Asai, Demario Davis, who is just the ageless wonder. David Onyemata, Kingsley Navarre, Dane Belton, Nashawn Wright, Andre Sisco, Max Mitchell, Tim Patrick, Kene Nwagwu, Andrew Beck, Chuck Okorafor, Xavier Newman-Johnson, Michael Walker, Jason Sanders, and Landon Young. I'm actually shocked, though, they have a new kicker, considering how good Nick Folk was last year. It's one thing I will say. I don't really have a lot to add on this. Like, they brought in good players. Demario Davis is a good linebacker, knows the system Aaron Glenn wants to run. Joseph Asai is a talented edge rusher that can bring them good depth and just a good partnership on the outside with David Bailey. I had nothing really.
Andre Sweat fits this system better than he did in Tennessee.
I would agree with that. And they didn't lose anything that really makes me go, man, that sucks. Like Elijah Vera Tucker, as I just said earlier, he has major injury concerns. John Simpson, he really didn't fit the window, and also, I really do like the rest of their offensive linemen a lot. Michael Clemens, maybe that one hurts a little bit, because I think he was a very good player for them. I understand maybe you want to bet on Osai moving forward. Quincy Williams, not really much there. And Nick Folk, that was the biggest shocker to me. Just losing him, because that dude was just automatic last year.
Yeah. And then, trading Justin Fields.
Yeah, Jets fans. I made a short, can't remember when it was, but I was pretty much saying Justin Fields isn't good. And I had a couple comments on that video saying I was wrong, that I'm a biased Steelers fan. Who's wrong now? You got the Justin Fields experience. It sucks. Moving on to the draft. I mean, you were higher on David Bailey than I was. There's no secret about that. I was not as high on him than everyone else was. I had him as a mid-teens type player. And that's not because I didn't think he was good. I was just I thought he was more raw than what people thought he was. I don't care for his power rush moves. I don't really think he can be a power rusher right now at all, and he's just a speed rush guy. Now, that speed rush is a pretty good trick, as we just saw with what he did to Broderick Jones in the Steelers preseason game, where he just de-pantsed him beyond belief. And that gives me hope and optimism, and I think he's got a coaching staff that's going to work with him and really develop him, and will overall work. If there was another team that drafted David Bailey, I probably wouldn't like it second overall, but with where the Jets are and the fact they are a developmental team, that I can see the potential of David Bailey really popping in the future, that I like the pick.
Fair enough. You really like this draft, don't you?
I like some aspects of it, some I really, really don't. And I'm really just staring at one player right now when I say that. Kenyon Sadiq, again, was
fourth round, right?
Yep. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Oh, no.
Kenyon Sadiq, talented guy. Again, was lower on him because I didn't like him as that single tight end type guy and thought he needed development. Going to the Jets, he's going to get development. He's going to get his time to really play. And he's not going to necessarily have to be the tight end that's really relied on in blocking situations or in that type of role. As they have Mason Taylor, they're going to be able to run 2 tight end sets. They're going to be able to put Sadiq out wide and really have some fun, creative usage.
He's going to be more of the move tight end.
100%. And I think that fits with Mason Taylor. Omar Cooper Jr., stop me if you've heard this before. I was lower on him than everyone else.
Especially me.
Omar, and I had this written down. I love him as a third wide receiver. Outside of that, I don't care for. Guess what? He's a third wide receiver. I love it.
Well, not necessarily. No, he's not. He's a second wide receiver.
No, he is a third. We will talk about this later. I will never give up on my man.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Pons. I was higher on him than a lot of people, including you. Just the corner I loved. I just watched him over and over again. He played much bigger than he actually was, and he made it work. He made wide receivers' lives miserable. And I love that. He was comped a lot to Aaron Glenn. I know Daniel Jeremiah said that a lot. If you were, I don't know if you were watching the second round or if you were just listening to it at the time, but when he got drafted to the Jets, Daniel Jeremiah literally did a fist pump, like, yes! Which you never see, and I thought that was awesome.
Okay. So
ahead.
I'm just gonna say it now. I love the fact that everybody likes him. But do you remember the pomp and circumstance that was about Emmanuel Forbes coming out? Oh, he plays so much bigger than he is. He da. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. The difference is they got him in the late second. I still wouldn't have drafted him there, but they got him in the late second as opposed to where Forbes was drafted.
See, I think they played differently. Emmanuel Forbes thrived off the pick sixes. He thrived on throws behind. Pons would just come and punch the receiver in the mouth. He wasn't he wasn't playing the ball as much, which he did do. He was playing the wide receiver and just wanting to make them miserable.
So where do you think he's going to end up playing?
Nickel. 100% nickel.
Okay.
And
so what's going to happen to him?
He's going to be better than what you expect. You're going to try and run at him. Fine. He plays bigger. He's going to take on those guys. I don't have concerns about that. Because as much as we can point out like size and everything matter, there needs to be a mentality there. He's got that mentality.
Okay.
Darrell Jackson Jr., a guy that was just not really ultra impressive to me. I think he's got some fine footwork. I think he's got some natural traits that you'd like, but like just moving forward full time, I don't really know about him a whole bunch. Do you have anything to add on him before I go on a rant about Cade Klubnik?
No, I think that there's more to Darrell Jackson Jr. than what we've seen, and it's going to be It's going to be a developmental type thing.
And that's very fair. As I mentioned earlier, the Clemson coach's staff, the Florida State coach's staff is beyond worse. And they had to bring everyone back because of contracts. Fun. Cade Klubnik. I'm just ready for when I don't have to hear the words, he's a winner with a draft pick, with a quarterback ever again. I heard that he's a winner. I've heard he's got a good arm. I've heard he's accurate. I've heard. I just want people to watch the player and actually tell me that stuff actually stands the F up. Because Cade Klubnik does not have a great arm. Cade Klubnik does not move really great. Cade Klubnik is average at maybe all of that. And that makes him this intriguing guy for some people when he's just not NFL caliber. Every single year, there's this guy that gets hyped up because he played at a high-power conference school, he had talent around him, and that talent elevated his play style, and you got people buying the hype on him, and every time, by the end of the rookie year, by the end of the rookie contract, he's cut and no longer on a roster. That's Cade Klubnik.
So you know who else fits everything that you just said?
Will Howard?
No.
Go on.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was accurate.
He grew to be more accurate. He wasn't as accurate. Everything that you said about him, that's Tom Brady.
Okay, and how many Tom Brady's has there actually been?
1.5.
And that other guy is in San Francisco. And even then, he's not Tom Brady.
Oh, okay. I guess if you want to go there, I guess I would say 2.5 then.
Oh, who's the other one then?
Matt Hasselbeck. He's the half.
Oh, I see it. Half Hasselbeck. We see this happen over and over again, and they don't finish out the rookie contract. That if he was a 6th or 7th round pick, I probably wouldn't be as annoyed. But I hate seeing teams waste a 4th round pick on this. I just hate it. And Enez Cooper, I mean, he comes from Miami, comes from probably the best college offensive line coach in Mario Cristobal. Big guy, good in moving players in the run game, has a very violent punch. I kind of like him. And then VJ Payne, long, rangy type safety. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about with him here.
No, fair enough.
Now, you ready to get into the predictions and awards and everything?
Let's do it.
So, how would you rank these drafts? Here, I'll go first.
Are we going? You want to go fourth to first or first to fourth?
I'll go first to fourth. I will start. I have the Jets, Dolphins, Bills, Patriots. And really, the only reason why I had the Bills above the Patriots is just that I felt at the end of the day they got better value on some of the players, even though the Patriots maybe had like a better player overall. Just their back half of the draft was just like, guys, I don't even know if we'll make a roster.
I actually, ironically, would agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that after this is all said and done, I think that the Dolphins will end up having the best draft.
They have so many darts; it's very possible.
But I mean, like you look at you. I mean, even you said it yourself. You liked the first four, and then potentially the Jets, their sixth round. Okay, you weren't a fan of Proctor. You liked Johnson. You weren't a fan of Rodriguez. You liked Caleb Douglas. You liked Kamarick. You liked Bell. You weren't huge on Trey Moore. You want Kyle Lewis to switch positions. You liked Kevin Coleman. And, so, I mean, it's like all in all, I think that they could end up having.
So, with how I look at it, during the draft process, the Jets, they took two players before I would get to my first Dolphins player, of how my personal board was, looking back. Because I had both Pons and Bailey ranked above Chris Johnson, and I actually didn't even have a top 100 grade on Proctor, which if you have that for a first-round pick, I have to majorly dock you. Now, moving on to rookies of the year. Defensive rookie. Oh, wait, no, my bad. Staffs. I skipped over staffs. How would you rank these coaching staffs?
I would honestly say I would go New England, and then I'd go Buffalo, the Jets, and then the Dolphins. And a lot of the Dolphins is just because we just don't know, right?
Yeah. We're in lockstep on that, and I debated because I do think that I have issues seeing Aaron Glenn finishing the season out in New York sometimes. Sometimes I think he's going to be the long-term guy. Other times I don't, but I look at Frank Reich, a guy who has been in the NFL for a long time, knows what he's doing as a coach. It feels like there's a professional offensive coordinator in New York, which, been a while since I said that.
And look at if you go deeper, all right? You got Bill Musgrave for the quarterbacks, Carl Dunbar for your defensive line. And then,
love Carl Dunbar.
Yeah. So, I mean, they've just got some solid coaches.
Yeah. Who would be your offensive rookie of the year?
Ooh, offensive rookie of the year. This is interesting.
So here's what I did because I was going to make up my mind during the course of this. I wrote down Bell so I could choose Skylar or Chris. I'm going to go Skylar because he's healthy, but it could easily be Chris Bell. But with health concerns and everything, I will have to do Skylar Bell.
I'm going to go with Omar Cooper Jr.
You're higher on him than me. Defensive rookie of the year.
I'm torn between two players here.
It's not the same player I have.
Probably not.
Well, you think I went D'Angelo Pons because I think the world of him as a corner. I think he'll be a nickelback. I think he's going to be a transcendent nickelback type player that will actually get turnovers for the Jets. An interception that they did not see at all last season in the regular season. Just massive improvements there. Playing right around Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of the most intelligent safeties in the NFL. Can highlight where he needs to be, can really work with him, and improve him throughout the course of the season.
So I was tossing up between Chris Johnson and David Bailey. I'm going to go David Bailey. Same team. He's going to get opportunities to get sacks. So
Yeah. But you may have run into the concern, though, that he maybe will get more doubles just because another guy has to establish himself on the other side. But that could be the same issue with Chris Johnson, is that why are you throwing at Chris Johnson?
yeah, when you can throw anywhere else.
Yep. Offense player of the year. I had James Cook written down. This was relatively easy for me. It's pretty much who's the best offense player that's not a quarterback in the division, and it's kind of hard not to say James Cook.
Yeah, I'd have to say that you're probably right. I mean, obviously, the best offensive player in this division is on the same team of the person that you just said.
Yeah, but like when you have to remove quarterbacks and everything, it's like
I'd go. Yeah, I'm fine with going with Cooks too.
Yeah, it's like AJ Brown's really good, but he's not going to touch the ball as much as James Cook will.
I don't know. He could have a freaking. I mean, he could explode like he did 3 years ago.
Which very possible. But I have an issue not giving that to James Cook. Defensive player of the year, this was relatively easy. I just took the best defensive player in the division. Give me Christian Gonzalez.
Is he going to play?
What are you saying that for?
Well, has he got a contract yet?
Oh, well, hey, we're still in that process. There are a lot of corners that don't have a contract, and one that might be traded here relatively sooner rather than later.
You think Porter's going to get traded? I don't think so.
I didn't until today, until I got some information.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then why even bring Rodgers back?
Because they don't want to pay Porter with what he wants.
Well, I understand that, but they knew what he was going to want going into it. They knew that as soon as these contracts started going, they're just going to get bigger. And if they didn't get him signed, it'd be like right at the end of the when free agency started, when the league year started, they were going to get screwed.
So I'm going to say this: they're not a well-ran organization.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I will say this. There might be an opportunity that we do see Porter in this division. So this could actually come into context with some of the teams I've heard poking around.
Interesting.
So who is your defensive player of the year for this division?
I would probably go with Gonzalez as well. He is the best defensive player in the division.
Yeah, it's really hard when you're looking at everything else. It's like there's no one on Miami. I mean, maybe Buffalo if Ed Oliver just comes out like a house on fire, but even then, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. And Jets, it's such a young defense that like they're not established like Gonzalez. And MVP. I'm sorry, Patriots fans. I'm sorry, Drake May. I gotta give it to Josh Allen. I can't reasonably look at everyone in this division and not go, he's the best quarterback in this division. It's usually the best quarterback.
He's the best football player in the division. He's the best. Yeah.
He is a not human type player. And that leads us to the last thing on the book. Oh, wait, no, I have one more. Breakout player. And you don't have to have one, but I need to hype him up. It's going to be Adonai Mitchell breaking out this year. He's finally got a quarterback that can give him the ball. He is in a perfect situation. I am ready for the AD Mitchell breakout. And I will be drafting him in every fantasy football league. The silence is telling me.
What?
I am buying into him this year.
Are you? Oh my God. I'm sorry. I was so shocked by that
He is my offensive Trent McDuffie. Now, the other reason why I went A.D. Mitchell is, there's not a lot else to pick from. As you can look at Miami, Miami's probably the best bet because there's going to be some people that just haven't really had the time to shine that's going to get the opportunity. But even then, are you going to bet on them? Bills, maybe you have some resurgence. Maybe you have Khalil Shakir really arriving on the scene, but I couldn't put much faith in that. And then the Patriots, it's like maybe Kyle Williams, maybe, but now he's going to be the third option, and I just
Romeo
don't know.
Dobbs.
Who'd you say?
Romeo Dobbs.
Romeo Dobbs. No, he's stabilizer type guy. So, going from last place to first place, how is your division standings?
Miami, New York Jets, Patriots, and Bills.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not say the same thing. And I know the Patriots are the defending AFC East champions. I get it. But there's just this thing in my head that goes, I'm not betting against Superman. I just refuse to do it. And I'm excited for when the Bills and Patriots play. I'm sure everyone's kind of excited for that. I just don't know if the Patriots are going to be able to hold off the Bills in back-to-back years, especially with how both teams were playing down the stretch. Even though the Patriots did go to the Super Bowl, I would still say I felt like the Bills were the better team down the stretch, and were just one probable interception, completion type call away from facing the Patriots and probably beating them in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. I think you're right.
And you have no complaints on how that turned out, correct?
Nope.
Okay, that's going to wrap us up. Yesterday was the NFC South upload. Today is AFC East. Tomorrow is NFC East. Or is it the least? We'll discuss that. And like I said, next week there is a Buddy Nix video dropping as I look back at the early 2010s Bills and I talk about the mess that he had with the Ryan Fitzpatrick saga, from trading Marshawn Lynch to drafting CJ Spiller to all the missed opportunities, and the last pick really being to put the nail in his coffin, drafting EJ Manuel in the first round. I hope you check out that video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like, I hope you share, I hope you put your comments down below of what you agree with, what you disagree with, and I hope y'all have an amazing day. Thank you very much for watching.